What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Rad and Dad YouTube channel, or welcome if it's your first time. Either way, very glad to have you. We're doing a oil change today. Oil changes are important. Obviously, do them according to your, at least according to the manual for your specific bike. I'm actually overdue with this bike, but it's okay because I haven't ridden it in the time that I've been overdue, because those of you who know, my house situation has kind of been all jacked up. So that all being said, we're finally going to do the oil change. But first, we got to roll that beautiful, beautiful intro.
Riding down a YouTube channel, it's the riding down a YouTube channel, it's the riding down a YouTube channel, it's the riding down a
Alrighty, so oil is a somewhat subjective. People will swear by it. People will, amsoil is the only oil I put in my Harley heritage, brother. Oil is oil for the most part. Now, granted, if you're in an extreme condition, either crazy hot or crazy cold, yeah, you're going to want to take special precautions. Otherwise, it's all about just wear. I've tried a bunch of different oils with my M8 Softail. Well, through all of the bikes, but the M8 Softail was the one I tried a bunch of different oils in. I tried Bel-Ray non-synthetic, Bel-Ray synthetic. I did Redline in all three holes. I've done Harley Syn 3, which is, you know, well, I've had Harley Syn 3. I never put it back in. I'm trying to think what else I did. I did another one that I can't remember right now. But the one that I saved to tell you last is the one that we're going to be doing in the Sportster, which you guys already saw in the thumbnail, so I guess it's not that much of a surprise. But it is, in fact, Lucas oil. Now, some places you can find Lucas oil, this kind of same thing, specific for the primary case. My local O'Reilly's did not happen to have that. It's only a single quart. It's not a big deal to change it. They were on sale for like $1 less than they normally are or whatever, but at least where I'm in Florida, these were about $10 a quart, which is a decent amount cheaper than a lot of the other ones that people like amsoil or Redline or whatever. Now, I will say, in an M8, or at least my M8 that I had it, my ideal oil that I would have continued to do if I had it for, you know, a longer period of time would have been this in the crank, because I really like this oil. Redline in the transmission, and then that bike was a little different. I needed ATF Type F oil in the primary because of the clutch setup I had, and I just used the O'Reilly's one because that's actually what Evolution recommended. But that is neither here nor there. We're using the Lucas today. Again, this is 20W50. There's a really good chance your Harley is going to require 20W50, at least for the crank, because that's what like the vast majority of Harleys that are on the road today require. This specific bike, this is all, the other cool thing is this is all stuff that I was able to get at my O'Reilly's, which is a mile and a half down the road from me, instead of going to a Harley dealership and paying crazy prices or ordering online. I did go ahead and get the Chrome filter. The filter on the Sportsters are right here, so they're very clearly visible. Yeah, just in case you want to know, again, this is a 13 Sportster XL883. I'm fairly confident that this oil amount and filter is going to be very similar or the same. It's going to be the same across the board for several different Harleys. This Wix brand filter, which is the only one O'Reilly's happen to have in stock in the Chrome, the Wix part number is 57348. Again, this is the Lucas oil. This Sportster, completely empty specs, calls for 2.8 quarts in the crank, and then just shy of 1. It's like 0.98 or something like that. But basically, for all intents and purposes, 1 quart of oil in the primary. Now, Sportsters, if you're, you know, different from other stuff, or if you've had other bikes in the past or whatever, or if you're just watching this out of curiosity because you like my channel, Sportsters are super easy to change the oil in. There's only the 2 holes. There's no 3-hole oil change. Something that is not necessarily needed, but I'm going to try out in this bike because I have really enjoyed how it performed in other bikes I've had, is this Lucas motorcycle oil stabilizer. Hopefully, I know last time I tried doing this up-close stuff, the stuff did not focus very well, so hopefully that focuses for you guys. But this Lucas motorcycle oil stabilizer, what the heck is that? It's also for use in ATVs and UTVs. Now, they have this for vehicles as well. This is the motorcycle-specific one. Let me explain a few things. So it claims it cools and quiets engines, gearboxes, seals worn cylinders to slow oil consumptions, controls heat and wear in high-performance motorcycles, especially Harley Davidson, whatever. And the directions say to use 1 full bottle per oil change. This goes in the crank. This is not for wet clutches unless I missed something. It says it blends with other motorcycle lubricants, even ATF, mineral oil, and synthetic oil. Excellent for use in motorcycle engines, and gearboxes, but extends oil life up to 50%, slows blow-by, less pollution, oil contamination, raises oil pressure, easier starts at any temperature, won't sludge or varnish. Ensures against oil breakdown in case of overheating. Now here's, and they claim it eliminates dry starts, which is the #1 cause of wear in motorcycle engines, which I do believe. Dry starts are definitely a thing. I tried this for the first time in my M8 Softail, and I loved it. It cut down my blow-by a noticeable amount without doing any other changes, and it just overall made my crankcase a little bit quieter, or not my crankcase, but it made the engine running. I had a small stroke. It made the engine run overall just a tad bit quieter, and it seemed to smooth things out. And my oil temperature, I didn't have an oil temperature measure. My head temperature was slightly cooler on average. I don't know if it was just a luck of the draw kind of thing or if it was because of this. But for an extra like $6 or $7, I can't remember how much this is, it's definitely worth it. If you guys don't know anything about this bike, it's a 13, so we're going on 11, almost 12 years old right now. Thankfully, it was taken care of very well. As you can see, this stuff is in really good condition. The more we work on this bike, you'll see that as well. However, that being said, it's still old. It has like about 30,000, I think slightly under 30,000 miles on it, which is great. Could be better, but still pretty low for motorcycles. However, it's still old. It's still 12 years old. So we're going to put this in. Again, you'll see me just completely dump this whole thing in. Something to note, which I did right before I started this video, is to start the motorcycle. What you want, and I'll play a clip of it in a second, what you want, you can take the oil cap off, which you'll need to have off to, decrease the chance of having a vacuum and stuff and letting all the oil come out when you drain it. But take the oil cap off, start the bike, give it a little bit of time, not 20 minutes, but not 5 seconds either. Just a little bit of time idling so the oil can actually pick up and circulate all the way through. That way you actually drain all of it. Otherwise, you're going to wind up not being able to drain all of it, and you're going to kind of just be picking up the part that was sitting and not all the part that's been flowing through and everything. So definitely start the bike. Give it, I think I gave mine like maybe a minute 10 total or something like that. Let me know if that was too much or too little, whatever. But yeah, so make sure you start the bike before, get the oil circulating. You could see it. Like I said, I'll show the video now. You could see it circulating in the actual, the tank, at least on the Sportster you can, which is cool. But yeah, you're going to need a flathead screwdriver, and you are going to need a 5/8 socket. And an oil pan and oil, obviously. But those are the only two tools you need to do it. You'll see when I zoom you guys in closer, Sportster oil changes are the best to do. Super simple, super easy. They will spoil you for any other bike oil change. Let's zoom you guys in, start this oil change. All right, so I went ahead and actually I had a relatively low profile one, but not as low as this. And unfortunately, this Sportster is a lot lower than my other bikes have been. So I did have to get a oil drain pan here, container, but I will post the link. It was Amazon. It was like under 30 bucks, I think, if I recall correctly. So I'll go ahead and post that link. But you are going to want to make sure you take out your drain plug so it drains in. And then if your oil has, this is a big guy. If your oil has a second vent hole, unplug the vent hole. So on a Sportster, super, super easy. You're going to find, and try to move you guys a little bit closer so you might be able to see better. You're going to find the little nubby that looks like it's got a little plug in it, and it does have a plug in it. You're going to unscrew, at least loosen that piece. I cannot for the life of me think what that's called for some reason. And then you basically just take this plug out. And I apologize, guys. My light shut off. So you know what? Let me find a different light. So hopefully this can be a little bit better for you guys. All right, I was able to find another light. All right, so you're gonna find that little nubby thing, unscrew and loosen the, and again, I feel like an idiot. I cannot think of the name. Anyway, you're gonna loosen that. I think I still gotta loosen it a little bit. Loosen that, and then all you do is take this plug out. Now, You might use, if your space is kind of cramped like mine is, it might be beneficial to use a screwdriver and kind of help a little bit with that. And then the oil just comes out. Super easy. At this point, you are going to want to go ahead and want to undo your oil cap. That way the vacuum releases and you can actually drain the oil efficiently. Go ahead and put the oil cap here. And then you're just going to let this drain for a little bit. All right, once you got that part drained for a while, it's going to take a little bit of time, but now is a good time to drain your primary. That way it's all done at the same time. So take your 5/8. It's the only bolt over here, pretty easy to find, and just break her loose. All right, a certain point, you'll be able to just do it with your fingers to loosen it, and hopefully I can do this without getting oil all over my fingers. Ooh, look at that. Nothing. Perfect. All right, once your oil's pretty much, it's been draining for 15, 20 minutes now. It's pretty much good. It's a good idea to replace your oil, your drain plug for your crankcase, the bolt. It's a good idea to replace the O-ring. Now, I went to Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever one, I can't remember, and I got these. They're number 41 O-rings. It's a pack for I think I spent like $2 or $3 on this pack, and it served me for like 2 years of oil changes. So yeah, you could buy the one from Harley directly or a auto parts store and get a single one, but it's probably going to run you a heck of a lot more than that multi-pack, and they're O-rings. O-rings are O-rings are O-rings. They all do the same thing. It's a good idea. It's going to be kind of hard without me bumping the light or the camera, but it's a good idea to now go ahead and just clean off, give a final kind of wipe off to the surface where you're about to put the plug back in. And we're going to start with the crankcase plug first. Now, yes, it does have a foot-pound, or maybe even an inch-pound, probably a foot-pound torque spec on it. And for those of you who know me, no, I don't really do that. So go ahead and tighten that. Where's my socket wrench? Go ahead and tighten that to whatever you feel comfortable doing. If you feel comfortable doing it and I can find it, I will put the torque spec up on the camera right now. I gotta move this stuff so I can get in here without blocking the shot for you guys. I'll put the torque spec on the screen, but if you don't care about it like me, just go ahead and tighten it. This should not be insanely tight. It has an O-ring. If you tighten it a lot, that's when you strip stuff, or possibly, and unfortunately I've seen it happen before, crack the entire primary case. All right, once you put that done, now you're gonna go ahead, and this is gonna be really challenging for me to do with the camera and the light in the way, but put the little plug back in the drain hose and go ahead and tighten that. And again, still can't think of the name. Go ahead and tighten it up. All right, your next step is going to be kind of twofold. This is called the inspection cover over here, and I thought I filmed it, but I guess I did not. Go ahead, and it's a good idea to remove this. One, this is the easiest way to fill the oil for the primary, and even if you don't want to do that, it definitely releases the vacuum. You could fill the primary oil or refill it back by either going through the inspection cover or the derby cover. The inspection cover is by far the easiest unless you want to get a visual aid, which I'll put a little screen grab of it real quick for the clutch and everything as far as where the oil goes with the derby cover, or if you're replacing the derby cover or whatever. But these screws don't strip as easy. This is just a much easier kind of inspection, and you can always see the chain still, just like that. Now we're going to go ahead and have to take the oil filter off. Now, hopefully, or whoever did the past, either you or, if you got it used or the dealership, whatever, didn't over tighten the heck out of this thing. Now you can buy some, wrenches and stuff like that. Or honestly, with the Harley, I've always just gone and used a huge set of pliers and just grabbed it. I've seen guys puncture it with a screwdriver, like a flathead or even a Phillips, I guess, and then use that with leverage. But yeah, the oil filters do not need to be torqued down to heck. Now, I'm going to have to move the camera in a second because I forgot about having to put the drain plug or the drain pan here. But a kind of tools of the trade, cheap, easy fix or tip, it's not a fix, whatever. This is going to be to catch the oil that is inevitably going to be coming out of the oil filter. Now on this specific bike, there's a little notch there for the bottom of the case and everything, so I did that kind of cut out. But just take a piece of cardboard and kind of fold it in a like a V shape. Or whatever kind of shape that you need to go under the oil plug or the oil filter. I am really not having an easy time speaking today. If you don't have a spare piece of cardboard lying around, then that just tells you that you are not buying nearly enough motorcycle parts. Fix that ASAP. So once you go ahead and get the cardboard wedged in there, I'm almost there, you can start removing the oil filter. And I already checked before I did this. Mine is relatively tight, but I can turn it. It might be a little difficult with this cardboard here now. There you go. Now I'm going to get my oil drain plug. This is going to be a little difficult because I don't have the best area here to do this, but you'll see once you start, there it comes out. Give it a second, let it fall into the drain pan. Keep going here. All right, and then what I like to do once the bulk of this is done is just shove a rag up in this area. That way any kind of small little residual oil gets caught with the rag and we can pull the cardboard away. And there you go. All right, something that is super important to do for your new oil filter before you install it is to fill it up with oil a good amount. This is kind of specific to motorcycles. I don't know if it's specific to Harleys or not. It might be. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Harleys are what I've done the vast majority of my oil changes and stuff on. So you're going to want to fill it up a little bit of amount. You'll see when you fill it up, it'll kind of start to soak into the filter element a little bit. Let's see how that's going. A little bit. And the reason, if I forgot to say it a second ago, the reason behind this is to prohibit dry starts, which you definitely do not want happening on your motorcycle. Go ahead and take some of that fresh, clean dinosaur oil. And well, actually, this is synthetic, so I take that back. But go ahead and take some of that fresh oil and give a nice little coating to the O-ring or gasket. I don't know if you would technically call that an O-ring or not. That's on the outside of You know what? You know what I'm talking about. Words are hard today for whatever reason. So we're just going to call it quits with that. All right. Go ahead and take that old one off. We're going to clean this up a little bit more. Just clean up the surface area of it before we put this new filter in. And if you did that cardboard trick correctly, you should not have any oil coming out at all. And you'll see when you put this on, be careful not to cross-thread it. Self-explanatory why you wouldn't want to do that. But no oil comes out. So there you go. I know that was a big fear of mine the first time I ever did a oil change on the bike, and I was like, oh my God, all the oil is going to come out when I tip it over sideways, but it doesn't. So go ahead and tighten that. Not a crazy amount, just kind of snug. And if there was any oil that got anywhere, go ahead and rub it off, because otherwise it'll smell bad later and it'll cause a bunch of dirt and grime and stuff to get everywhere. All right, time to fill the primary up. Like I told you guys, it's just shy of 1 quart, so we're gonna go ahead and add a quart. Go ahead and put your funnel, set it up. Pretty self-explanatory, guys, just fill it up. And again, same oil. This specifically says, I don't know if I covered this before, but it says engine, transmission, primary. But like I said, sometimes, depending on where you're at, you will be able to find Lucas oil that is specifically made for only primary. Now, normally when I would fill this, I know it's a little bit off camera, but it's okay. Normally when I would fill this oil, I would kind of wait and do a good to the last drop kind of setup with the oil and just let it continue to go. But as soon as we hit that quart, I'm just going to pull out, because I know we didn't get 100% of the oil that was, sitting in the primary before this. And like I said, again, it doesn't take a exact quart. It takes just under a quart in the primary, so we don't need to overfill it. Oh no! I can't believe you guys just watched me do that. Oh no. Well, there you go. We got less than a quart. All right, once you clean up your mess, if you made one, hopefully you didn't, go ahead and put that inspection cover back on. Again, torque spec, yes, me, not doing it. Make sure you clean up the gasket that's in there before you reinstall this. And if you need to get tools, these are 5 30-second size bolts. Make sure also, just a kind of a pro tip, these have little O-rings on them. Make sure you don't lose them when you're taking them out. Sometimes they get stuck to the cover themselves. Sometimes they come out on the bolt. Kind of a crapshoot. Just make sure you have them when you put the bolts back on. All right, now that you got the oil filter back on, the plug put back in, and the bolt on the primary back in, it's time to finally fill her back up with oil. Again, this, I think it's like 2.8 quarts if memory serves me correctly. Keep in mind, if you're doing what I'm doing and putting in that oil additive, that's also going to be extra oil that you need to factor in for the total, so don't overfill it. As you could see, well, I don't know if you can read it on there, but the dipstick says check oil hot. And then it says 1 quart, whether it's full or that you need to fill it 1 quart. So basically, there you go. In my experience, it's best not to have Harleys completely full. It's good to have them about 3/4 full. So again, this is something that you do have to check when is hot and on the Jiffy stand. So go ahead, and if you want to do a double check, take your bike off the lift. If you have it on a lift like me, start it, get it up to operating temperature, put it on the Jiffy stand, and check the hot oil. All right, there you have it. That is how to do a complete two-hole in Sportster case oil change for your Harley Davidson Sportster. Specifically, this is the 883, but applicable to any Sportster unless you got the brand new one with the RevMax engine. Yeah, it's super easy to do. All in, I think I spent maybe $55, something around there. If you were to take this to a Harley dealership or even an indie shop, probably run you around $100, and a Harley dealership north of there, obviously. So yeah, super easy to do, and the benefit is you can put whatever oil you want in your Harley, and you can kind of play around with it. If you feel like you want to do your oil this way this week, and then next week change oil or whatever, you can do that. There's no harm in that. You can test out different oils. You don't have to wait the specific mileage that your manual says before you change oils. Hopefully this video was helpful to you if you needed to know how to do an oil change, or if it was just entertaining to you because you like the Riding Dad channel or you like motorcycle stuff. I know I watch stuff on bikes I don't have all of the time. It's just part of what the motorcycle community is all about. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, turn on post notifications, that whole deal. You know the deal with YouTube. Like, thumbs up, subscribe, all that jazz. All of it I appreciate very much. Instagram is a super easy way to chat with me and, you know, exchange ideas, or if you want to show me your bike or whatever, get thoughts about it or whatever. I talk to all you guys on Instagram almost daily. Thank you guys very much for watching, and until the next time, ride safe, have fun, Dad